Continuing our interviews with our co authors of the book Born to Bloom, I have with me joining us Dr. Saurabh Patil. Dr. Saurabh Patil is a professional speaker, he's a published author, he's a restaurateur, and he talks about how he can help men change their attitude, change their lives, how to control their anger. And he has a very special formula which he has created, a system which helps people change, come out of that difficult zone and become better persons, become better fathers, become better husbands. Welcome to the show, Dr. Saurabh Patil.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining us. Let's start this journey where we'll talk about your author, your chapter, your journey, and how do you manage to do all these 3, 4, 5 things in your life altogether. So first, let's talk about your chapter which you authored in Born to Bloom. Tell us a little bit about the message and your story which actually you went through.
Right. Thank you so much. So, my chapter, when I got the news about writing one chapter in Born to Bloom, I was literally thinking on what should I write about. Then, what occurred to me was my current state of health. Before writing this chapter, I was actually 108 kgs. And by the time I finished it, by the time we were done with it, I think I had almost lost 18 to 20 kgs. So my journey about this chapter is about how food impacts your health, and not only your health, how it impacts your emotions. We generally say we are or we behave on what we eat, and that's really true. When you eat anything, it's like a car. When you dump in any fuel in the car, your car is going to break down, your car is going to get irritated. Similarly, it's similarly in the same way about your body. Whatever you eat reflects indirectly on your emotions. It makes you irritated. Your emotions, your hormones, your dopamine jumps high, dips. So it affects your thinking. That is the reason it's very critical and mindful to know what you actually eat, how nutritious your food should be. And that is what my chapter talks about, how healthy eating makes you in convert or maybe allows you to healthy thinking, and how it channels your anger, because anger a lot of times is compared to food. What you eat, how it triggers your anger. So if you eat healthy, it definitely helps you to control or maybe channel your emotions.
Now, you actually run a restaurant, and we all know that whenever we go to eat food outside, we will order something tangy, spicy, yummy. Invariably, it is junk food. And then, we feed ourselves with this junk food, and then we complain that, I've got bloating, or my mood is not so and so. How do you then implement these thoughts or these processes into what you serve people? Which means if I order a vada pav or a samosa pav or a bhel puri at your restaurant, will it be different from how it is served elsewhere? And how do you manage to incorporate these learnings as to how food affects our emotions?
Well, very true. I get these questions a lot of times. So, you know what they say, food also needs to have a discipline. And when we talk about junk food, even when I went through my transformation about my weight loss, my journey, I completely did not stop the junk food because I'm a foodie and I still like to eat. It's not about what you can stop or it's not about what you can control. It's about how you can channel. So, when we talk about food, it's okay to consume certain items which we crave in limited quantities at certain times. Like I have a cheat day every Sunday and I maintain a specific diet Monday to Saturday. So even if when we are serving in a restaurant, I always tell to my customers or my client that try this first, try this portion first. So you don't have to stuff it. So that is in a way, I won't say healthy, but in a better way to consume something which you crave, at the same time not harm your health. Similarly, that's what my framework talks about: stop, pause, restart. When you are craving something like a food, don't deny it. Stop, pause, and see how much hungry you are. Enjoy the taste on your palates, and then restart with a better mindset.
So, when we were growing up, 20, 25 years ago, when we were young, we had very limited options of junk food. Now there are, plethora of options available which you can call as junk food. So, what is your message to this young generation nowadays? Especially, Gen Z seems to be on a different plane altogether. They want to do things their way. They want to, eat things their way, live life their own way. And the more you tell them not to do, they will actually rebel and, do it in front of you. So, how do you send out this message, especially to today's youngsters?
So one big advantage for today's generation, and that one thing even which my trainer tells me, that today we have food available at the tip of our fingertips. One button and the food is delivered home. So it's an easy access, and a lot of times such easy access is actually abused. So to for this generation where you have information, even food readily available, have a discipline in your food. So you know when to order what and in how much quantities. Lot of times people order in huge quantities and it is literally wasted or thrown away. So you could actually feed with that to someone else. So have a discipline in your food habits, order limited quantities, and have a routine. Maybe 3 days home food. After that, one day maybe if you want to just relish your tongue, that's it. So if you have a discipline and a routine, even in your food habits, like your workouts, like your work, it will definitely help you satisfy your cravings, at the same time not harm your health.
So you mentioned about, food being available at the fingertips. You press a button and within 10, 15 minutes that order is ready and delivered to your home. Tell us a little bit about how important is it when we are ordering outside food, one, to know where the food is coming from, which means, is it coming from a place or a restaurant which I am aware of, has a name, is close by, I've tasted that food. Nowadays you get to hear, there are these cloud kitchens with possibly 5, 7, 8, different names right under that same place. There are always questions about the quality of materials being used. And I remember just yesterday on social media, there was this one video viral where there were rats, moving around in a place. So how does that factor into your message? And since you have a restaurant of your own, what is the message would you like to give to, people when they are ordering food online?
So first of all, some basic stuff. Whenever you order food, do check the ratings. Do check, because these days, now gone are the times where the ratings, the reviews are manipulated. Today, the Gen Zs, even the millennials, are very open and honest about giving reviews, and ruthless reviews, brutal reviews. They will appreciate like crazy if they like it, and they will give you a very critical feedback if they don't like it. So look for those feedbacks first. Second thing, nowadays, what most restaurant cafe guys are doing are they're putting up labels about what the food has, what's the quantity, what are the ingredients, how much is it healthy, what are they putting in. Try to go through that and see how close the restaurant is, or how close the food or the cloud kitchen is to your home, because sometimes we do crave for something which is far away, and of course the food gets a bit stale while it's on the way by the time it's delivered. So try to have something closer to your house which will help you get delivered fresh food. Couple of 2 3 points like this, if you make sure you follow, you may be able to reduce uh, uh, the wastage, chances of infection, or even some stale food that coming to your house. Yeah.
Uh, just before you contributed your chapter to Born to Bloom, and before this book was published, your own book, your own really fully authored, your own book had been launched just a few months ago. So I'm just putting myself into your shoes. If my book had already been launched just 1 or 2 months ago, and somebody approached me, why don't you write a chapter for my book? At that time, what is going through your mind? let me concentrate on my book which has been launched. Let me first push that, or let me share another chapter. I'm getting another option, or another chance to write another story of my life. What was going through your mind, and what made you finally decide, yes, let's go through with this?
Well, to be a new person, to be a new aspiring author, obviously the first thing was that let me finish my book, let me start marketing my book instead of writing another chapter. But then one thing that came to my mind was there are certain parts which were missing in my own book about anger. And the most important part was food. And second thing is, I know Abhijit sir was pushing me, Payal was pushing me to write a book, please contribute something. So I cannot say no to them. So that was a second thing which pushed me to write the book. But basically, an important aspect was what was missing from my book was the food part, which I thought would definitely help me contribute as a chapter and highlight about one's emotions.
So, while growing up, when we were growing up, we were always told that, eat your food as medicine, otherwise, you will have to eat medicine as your food, right? So, just tell us a few tips, one from your life journey, one from your experience as as a person who runs a restaurant and who is actually looking at and speaking with Gen Zs directly who come and sit in your restaurant. They celebrate their functions, they come and study, they come in groups and they huddle together. What is your message to these people?
Well, you rightly said you eat your food as medicine, or you have to eat your medicine as a food, because I said food is discipline. Lot of successful people which I have seen, I have noticed, and I have actually experienced have same food habits every day throughout the week, month, year. That is how their discipline about the food is, because it is the fuel that pushes them ahead, makes them think clearly, have them clear channeled emotions. So for Gen Z's, this is a very important factor. You want to progress, you want to be productive, have a disciplined food routine. You can have a cheat day. Even when a lot of people come to our restaurants, like I said, we do suggest them that have this. Many times when you are craving, you order too much. So we suggest them, don't order these 5-6 dishes. Try these two first. And if you are still hungry, maybe you can go for them. Because the business is not about earning. The business is serving in the right way.
Very rarely will you get to a restaurant where the person serving you tells you don't order 5 dishes, first order 3. Otherwise, everywhere you go, everybody is in the business of upselling you something. If you walk into a restaurant and what is your best dish, instead of ordering for 1, you will end up ordering maybe even 3, because he tells you all these 3 are our choice for today, or dish of the day, or special dishes for today. So one part is that. The other part is we all know that especially at the young age, whatever we are putting inside our body will determine or decide how long we are probably going to live. We also learn from our experience and other people's experiences that there comes a time when your body doesn't need that food which you were used to, but because you have that craving, you have that taste, you keep on feeding that to you. Then at that time the body will either give up or do something strange, or problems will keep on happening. So one takeaway from what you said was, if you have cravings, go ahead, enjoy, have a cheat day, but don't have a cheat day every day. So before we finally pack up, the message from your chapter which you would like everybody who's watching this video to take away. This is my message. Please follow this, and then you will be happy for the rest of your life.
Yes. One important message, because I experienced the same thing. Last year in 2024, there was a time when my body literally said to me that you're not in your 20s, so stop consuming so much of junk food. And that is the time I decided to take action and check on my health and transform. So one message from my chapter, or for anyone and everyone who is a foodie, who is not a foodie, who loves cravings, be mindful of what you eat, and be mindful of how much you eat. Because based on this, you will, or your body will decide whether you react or you respond.
Wonderful. Be mindful of what you eat and how much you eat. And that reminded me, of be mindful of how fast or how slow you eat. When we were growing up, I remember our parents telling us, you have 32 teeth, see to it that you chew your food 32 times. None of us chew the food 32 times, but this was experience talking. This was, people who had, through generations, seen the effect of how food changes our lives, how eating the right food can make you feel better, make you feel happy, and how eating the wrong food, either at the wrong time or eating too much food, will make life difficult for you. For somebody who runs a restaurant, for somebody who's lost 18 to 20 kgs in the last few months, listen to what he is saying, because he has experienced it. He has shared his story in his chapter, which is there in Born to Bloom. Thank you, Dr. Saurabh Patil, for joining us and sharing your story. Thank you so much. Let's continue our series.